So your first option for recording your own videos is a free tool called Screencast-O-Matic. So it's all free. You just download the file and then it's on your computer and then you can use it whenever you need it. So there are free options and a paid version. The free version is great. It gives you up to about 12 minutes of recording. 15 minutes, which is all you need really to record a short video. And once you've done that, it makes a little area for your screen. You can set this to whichever size. Just note that you need to leave this area available. It's how you control the recording, the starting and the stopping. So you have a couple of options here. You should have, you notice the max amount of time, the size of the screen, and then the audio control for the narration. I'm using a microphone that I plug in right now, so that is why you see this. If you click on it, you can do a test. You have the option to do a quick record and then play back, so you see where just how loud the volume is, and then you can adjust here through the default. Hotkeys and things like that, I don't ever use those, so just know that they're there if you need them. So the step to do this, you have a couple of options. You can use the screen, you can use the webcam, which you can see it's a little dark in here right now, or you can do a combination of both, and then you can adjust where in the screen. Obviously, if you're going to use the combination of both, you need to make sure that it's pretty well lit so folks can see you. Once that's done, all you need to do is click record. It'll give you a brief countdown, and then you'll notice the timer is clicking and is starting to click up to 15. You can pause the recording and it'll just pick up where you left off if you use Screencastify. So it's pretty simple, or Screencast-O-Matic, sorry, that'll be our next one. So that's pretty much the basics of working with Screencast-O-Matic. It's pretty easy and it's great to use. And I really like that you can adjust the window for how you're presenting. So, for example, so when you're setting up to record, you want to make sure that it is the size of what you want to view. So if you're going to display a slideshow, you want the window set to that. And we're going to click the slideshow, pull it into its own little bar. And present with remote. So because of the way this is, I'm actually going to adjust my window because I don't want to record anything that isn't on the slideshow. So this is one of your tips for creating a video using a slideshow that you've already created. You want to make sure that you only show the window. Obviously there are times when it might not matter, but in this case, if you're using a slideshow, you want to have just that listed. So if you are using a slideshow, you want to have it so that that is the only part of your screen visible. So now if I add in the screen, you can see, adjust the angle. That way your students can see your face. They actually, research shows that students do better when they see your face, especially younger students and high school kids especially. They are included in that. So just, I know that it's hard to look at yourself sometimes, but just know that it's not, the kids don't care. They see you every day, that you look like you. For us, it's kind of hard. It's that mindset of the video, but you can actually start to ignore it. So the next step would be, I'm going to minimize this, and then you would just go through your slideshow like you normally would. You can use the arrows, you can talk about what's on the screen, add any explanation for what's going on, and make sure that your presentation includes images and pictures. You want students to be engaged, you want it to be entertaining. I mean, not like you're telling jokes and it's a comedy show, but you want visuals for students. Most people nowadays need a visual to stay focused, not just a bunch of words. So just remember, just like you don't like to go to a presentation where someone's reading you everything on the screen, maybe not do the same for students. Keep it visually interesting. And again, with your time limit at about 10 minutes or so, you've got to work quickly and move fast. Just stay focused and plan through what you're doing. So it's a pretty simple tool. Once you hit pause, you have the option to choose whether or not you are done. It will do the playback, so you could watch it. And then my choice always is to save it as a video file. From there, I can do any editing that I want to do on the computer, or just delete it. But I don't want to just raw upload it to YouTube, and I've never used the upload to Screencast-O-Matic. So you can redo if you get to this point and you realize you just made a horrible mistake. It happens way more than you would realize. Just hit redo and it will start everything over. Of course, the editing is a feature for the paid version. So when you hit save as audio, it actually picks a folder and it gives it a default number. However, I'm going to select a new folder to my desktop. And then I'm going to click on this to give it a name and just select publish. You'll notice it goes through the process of publishing it to that location. Note that the longer the video, the longer that takes. So that pretty much sums up using Screencast-O-Matic. It's a great resource. It's easy to use. It doesn't take a lot of time to get started with it. And again, there is an option if you just go online. If you click here, you can launch the free recorder, but you can also do a search for a download for Screencast-O-Matic. I do like it as a video recording tool for its ease of use and the pretty decent features that it provides. So the second option you have for creating online videos is a Chrome extension called Screencastify. You can add it to Chrome. It's free. Of course, they've recently added a paid version, so you are limited in what you can do, but it really only limits your time. So you want to click the button and add it to Chrome. I already have mine installed. So you're going to use that extension icon to record. And it's the icon that looks just like this, an arrow with a camera inside, which can be found right here once you've added it to your Chrome browser. So it will ask you to sign in with Google, and that's fine. The nice thing about this is that it automatically saves everything to Google Drive. So that's pretty useful if you are going to just share the raw video. If you're not doing any editing and you try to do it all in one take, then this is definitely the way to go. So it's going to ask to enable the camera and the microphone, and you have the option now to draw or annotate, which can be difficult if you are just using your trackpad. So we're going to click allow, otherwise the resources won't work. So now that you're ready to record, as you saw in the video, you've got a couple of options. You can choose just the tab that you're currently located in, which if you have it on your slideshow that you're wanting to share with students, that makes it so that it just automatically records just that tab and what you're presenting. If it's your entire desktop, that means you get to, it records everything. So if you had things in other tabs or documents that you wanted to show or pictures, you could also include those. Or you have the option to do just the webcam. So that's if you just want to talk and have a face-to-face conversation. With either of these, you can choose here are your settings, notifications. Looks like there's an awesome ebook and a list of your recordings. So you can see some more options. It defaults to a countdown for 3 seconds. You can adjust that to 5 or 10. The option for drawing tools, and then tab audio, which seems to be a new feature. So once you hit record, it will start recording. It'll pop your webcam, because right now you'll notice that it's got the little box in the box. That means that it's going to record the browser tab with your picture embedded so that students can see your face. If you do not want that option, click that so that it doesn't enable the internal webcam. It's just recording the screen. So let's give it a try with the using the option with Screencastify, the Google Chrome extension. So I'm going to come up here and click the record button, the icon up here in your extensions tab. These are all the resources that I want. So I do want the browser tab. I want to embed the webcam. I definitely want the external microphone, which is the earbud. And just to make sure that I have a 3-second countdown, I want to be able to see the drawing tools and the tab audio. So I'm going to press record.
1.
Now that the video has started recording, you'll notice over here is the video of me, the little embedded video. I have my options over here. Just know that once you close this, unless you use that shortcut, the Option T on a MacBook, that and it'll pop up for what is for your screen as well on a Windows device. You'll have to hit that or else you've lost those tools, which can be a little frustrating because if you want them back, you can't move on. So in order to move around, you need to make sure that you have You're on the pointer, I won't be able to navigate through the slideshow unless you use the arrow key. You have the pen option, you have the embed webcam option, which is over here. You can adjust how your pointer looks. I like having the circle around it. So when you click somewhere, you can also use the highlight feature to call attention to the piece, although it does dim the rest of the screen. And then you would have to select that again to make it disappear. So we can remove the clock or add it back. And then I'm going to close this. Just remember that it's the Option T. So I'm going to go next to my next slide. You would talk and emphasize whatever is being, whatever you want to highlight on. Of course, just with Screencast-O-Matic, you want to make sure that your presentation goes through very specifics, short, sweet, and to the point of what you want to teach, and has some engaging visuals and content. So that's kind of the basics of using both Screencast-O-Matic and Screencastify. To finish the recording, you would come up to the top of the screen here. You'll get your recording tab, and you have some options. For this case, I don't want to pause my recording. I actually want to stop this. So that stops. The video has started recording. And just it begins to replay what you just recorded while it is processing. So you'll get some notifications that your folders are available, and you can find those recordings in your drive in a folder called Screencastify right here. I have two because I've used them before. These are the two recordings that I've made so far today, so all of them get dropped into this folder every time you record them, and then you can come here and then choose what to do with them from there. They have this name because that's the name of the tab because of the slideshow that I was recording. So that's kind of the nice feature about Screencastify is that if you're recording a slideshow in that tab, it automatically saves it. If you're doing the full screen, it's a little bit different, but it's a really nice go-to feature. So you can tell this video has a little bit of a preview. That means it's already processed. This one is still working, and that is something that you need to be aware of, that videos do take time to process. First, when you put them and do the base recording, they'll take time to process. And then if you choose to do any editing, when you save them, that takes time to process. And then if you put them into YouTube, that also takes time to process. To edit a video from Screencastify, you'll need to download it from your drive to your hard drive first. To edit and upload a video in YouTube, go to YouTube, select the gray Creator Studio video button, and then select Upload. Choose the video from the file list that appears, and then select Open. The video will start to process and upload. The longer the video, the longer it will take. So when you're processing a video to YouTube, you have a couple of options. You can drop it write in, you can let a default thumbnail, or you can even upload a custom thumbnail for an image that you choose. So those are just a couple of options. Some people just like to use the one of thumbnail from within the video, and or like I like to do, I have an image that I like to include. But as long as there's a picture that kind of portrays what you want, it's not a problem. You can, the default name is whatever the file name was, so you may want to change that. The default when we chose to upload was public, but you can change that as either unlisted or private, and scheduled has to do with live videos. So right now we're going to keep this as public. You can also choose to add it to a playlist. Playlists kind of help organize work. So there's something to look at when you are doing a consistent number of videos on a certain topic or a certain subject. You would want to maybe create a playlist for that. So for example, this class has its own playlist so that everything gets sorted and all of videos can be found under one playlist. So you'll notice, again, even if you've recorded it, the video is not approved for Hopewell Public Schools. So you need to make sure that if you are sharing this and you want students to be able to view it from YouTube, then you would want to hit approve before sharing that with them. You can get back to Video Manager at any time. And this just takes you to your lists of videos. You do and may want to, in the settings for your video, decide whether or not students can comment. So you have your basic where you can click to add it to a playlist again if you've changed your mind. You have some advanced settings. Unfortunately, the default is to allow all comments. So if you'd like to turn that off, that it depends on you and how you're going to be sharing your video, but that is always an option. You need to click save. For those changes. Now over here you have an editor feature that YouTube just brought back. They had stopped allowing editing of videos, so I think they needed to redo the interface and kind of change how they would do things. So they've now brought it back so that it's a kind of an online way to edit videos, especially when you don't have video editing software. So this will be good for students who do not have video editing on their computers. Their Chromebooks don't have that feature, so they would need something web-based. And at this time, there aren't good free video editing tools out there beyond YouTube. So just hit click get started. It very similar to other options. You can zoom in on the tools at the bottom. You can add an end screen. You can trim and adjust. So once you've hit the split, you can kind of drag away and it reduces the time of your video. You can completely take it away. Preview what that will look like. So now that the video has started recording, options
You'll
over
notice it
here,
jumped
just know that once you close this,
right there to kind of bring it back. Like you saw the jump in what you could do. Looks like you can add end screens. There's a blank template for your end screens, which would be to kind of show off a video or another playlist. So it's a way to promote your video. You can discard your changes if you say, in fact, you really wanted to start the video here. You would hit trim, split. Oh, that's if we hit apply. It'll allow you to add some video elements, so like your channel and subscribe. It's my name. So, so this is a kind of a limited editor, but again, it is better than nothing. And as you find, oh, there it is. So apply some template, which again comes back to that. This lets you decide where in the video play you want that. So let's see, and where you want that to appear. So, like I said, this is just a free option to record and edit video.
So since Screencast-O-Matic does not have a kind of built-in video editing software, if you have on your computer Windows Movie Maker, especially if you don't want to use YouTube, that's a pretty basic, simple video editing. It does not allow you to do a lot of things, but it's good for just cutting out like pauses and extra time that would be useful to trim out to kind of condense the video as much as possible. You can download that to your computer. You have the rights to that, but you would need to do a search for the free Windows Movie Maker. If you use a computer other than a school computer, say you use Mac at home, then iMovie comes with Mac, and it is quite useful and very easy and user-friendly. If you have that and would like to have a one-on-one session with that, I'm happy to do that. Love iMovie. It's one of my favorite tools to edit video. If you do, though, however, you end up using Screencast-O-Matic and you don't want to edit it, or you are able to get it in one take, especially if it's short, you can usually just take a couple of takes until you get it how you would like it. The best way to share that if you don't want to go to YouTube is to just add it to your Google Drive. Again, I recommend keeping things organized, so if you are recording a video on a particular topic, go to that folder or the subject folder of how you have your files organized. Don't just drop it straight into your drive, but actually go to the folder where you'd like it to live. And when you click New in that folder, so I'd like it to live in this folder here, go to File, Upload. You would then choose where that is, click Open, and start the process of uploading it. Once it's completely uploaded, then you can, again, with just like you would with a file, so push it out in Google Classroom. So you would have that option to go to here, create a new assignment, or even a new material. If it's in Drive, you can choose it there. It'll be in your recents. Select, add. You would give it your topic just like you normally would, your title, a description of what students should do with that. If you needed to add another resource, such as, so this is the video, you'd do that, and then you could attach the Google document that they might fill out while they're watching it. Although in the case of a video, you kind of want paper so that they can watch the video and answer and do the practice that goes with it while they're watching the video without having to flip back and forth between screens. But that is just a suggestion. So of course you need a title here. Then you can decide whether or not you're going to post or schedule it or just save it as a draft for later if you're not quite